Hi everyone, it's Leona with Leona's Designs, and I am here to create, hopefully, the February bird of the month, which is a parrot. And the parrot design I'm using today is one from a parrot that I drew and paper collaged in 2020 Birdtober Challenge. So it has a lot of small pieces, and it's going to be a challenge, but I'm always up for a challenge. So I hope this is going to work out as well as it did on paper, because today I'm going to be using fabric. And I'm using the 6-inch block that I used for the Bird of the Month in January. And I have a bunch of fabric scraps on hand to hopefully create this beautiful parrot. The thing I'm doing this month is a little different from last month's bird. I'm going to try to use Steam-A-Seam 2. It's the lightweight Steam-A-Seam, and I've never used it before, but I've heard it's very good. I've watched a few videos of how to use it, and I kind of got a little familiar with it, with creating the bird body. I just created this out of some red fabric and put it on the Steam-A-Seam. So I need to peel off this paper backing to adhere it to the block. So I've done this much so far. I cut out his body out of red cloth, and then I also tried it with his beak here with some gold fabric. So so far, I think it's going to work well. I'll bring you along on my journey as we see how this is going to work out. So I have all my pieces, which are this body piece, and then this is the rest of the red that's on his body that I thought I might use a different color red just to accent it. And then the other pieces are very small. Just his beak, part of his eye, and just some of the feathers. And it should be a little challenging to cut out, but we'll see what happens. So right now I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to keep my body in this block, I guess. What I've done is, this is my sheet of Steam-A-Seam. Excuse me, I bumped it. I need to jerk it there. Okay, this is the Steam-A-Seam. It came in sheets, 9x11 sheets, I believe, from Amazon in a package. And this is one of the sheets. It has a paper backing on both sides. The one side of the paper backing has a yellow grid that's very faint, but you're supposed to draw your design on the grid side in reverse. So what I did was I traced, where is that piece? I traced this part backwards, like on the opposite side, onto this grid side. And then you're supposed to take off this backing sheet, which reveals the sticky side of the Steam-A-Seam. And you're supposed to put your cloth up against the sticky side, reversed. So you remove the paper backing, you place the Steam-A-Seam on the wrong side of the fabric, and then you cut out your design. So that's what we're going to do right now. I did that with this body. I did it with the beak. And now we're going to try it with this red part of the body. So I have some scraps here of red. Just thought maybe it would give us some contrast on this body here. Not sure which one would look best. This one's kind of colorful. I have this. Yeah, I don't know. Might look okay with the other feathers. Do I have anything else? Oh, I have this red piece. This might be nice. So I think to make a choice, I'm going to choose this, and you know, if I don't like it, I can always cut another piece out. But let's try this right now. So I'm going to take the wrong side of this. It really doesn't look like there's a right or wrong side, because it doesn't make too much difference. Some fabric doesn't make too much difference. Okay, so I'm going to place, first of all, let's just cut this piece out. Make it simpler. There. Okay, now I can take the backing paper off, and I can place the wrong side, which I think is this. Smooth it down, and then cut out my image. I'm going to use paper scissors to do that. I'll just cut right on the lines. And the videos I watched of others doing this, they did overlap each little piece. So I'll have to remember to do that. Maybe on some pieces I will cut a little bit bigger on the edges, just so I have room to overlap. So if any of you have used Steam-A-Seam, let me know in the comments below what you think of it and how you like it. So far it seems like it will work well. They say, people that I've watched the videos say that you can sew through it easily. It doesn't gum up your needle on machine or hand. So that's good, because other fusible webs I've used had difficulty sewing through. Okay, so just going to get rid of these little pieces here. I will save them because they can be reused. And we'll see now how this might look on the body. Now I'll take off this paper backing. Shouldn't be too hard. Now this is the back side. And it should just lay right down. And stick right down. And the nice thing about it is that you can reposition it until you iron it down. So until you iron it down with iron with steam, it's repositionable. So I think that probably will make a nice contrast to his body. I'm not going to iron it down right now until I put the other feathers on so I can see how it looks with the other feathers. So just kind of leave it like this. And his beak doesn't fit too well right down here. I might have to trim that off or move his beak. His beak is repositionable. So I think I'll just move it down a little bit. There. Now this could be saved for another time. So that's what I'm going to continue doing with these little pieces. I'm going to trace them out on the steam and I'm going to cut them out, and then I'm going to lay them down and just piece them in, and I will be back to show you the results of that before I press it down with an iron. Okay, I've got my last piece ready to cut out. I've got the pieces cut out and just set down. They're not steamed down. This is what it looks like so far. I did want to mention that when you're putting your pattern down and tracing it out, remember to trace it the wrong side of the pattern and the wrong side of the cloth, and then press it down with your fingers really firmly on this paper before you pull it off, just to make sure when you pull the paper off you get the sticky, because once I didn't do that really good and the sticky stuck to the paper. It did not come onto my cloth, so I had to try to reposition it and excuse me, to get the sticky on the cloth, because of course that's where you want it. Okay, so should be on there now. I've pressed it down good. You just peel this off, and then you have the sticky side on your cloth, and you just put it on. Should go right in here. I got it facing the right way. Is it this way? I think it's this way. Yes. So I'm not quite sure if I placed all of these exactly according to this, but you have to remember we still have a branch to put across here. And I got to put his eye in. And what I'm going to do for this black, instead of putting cloth, I'm going to use my Posca pen to just paint that in there. And probably to draw his eye and his feet or his claws. So I think I like the way that looks so far. So I'm going to go to my steam iron. I'm going to steam this all down. And I heard when I watched the videos that if you steam it down really good, you'll be able to get your needle through fine without it gumming up your needle. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I will be back to show you the next step. Okay, well, I got them all steamed down. They all stick down very nicely. Really happy with how that worked out. I did not take the paper off the back yet, because I'll do that when I'm ready to put it on the block. Right now, I'm going to make the branch for him. This is the original image. And I just tore this strip of cloth, this brown cloth, and I think what I'm going to do is just kind of roll it just to make a branch, and then probably I will stitch this down just to make it kind of more dimensional. Might even put a little stuffing in there. I don't know if I'm going to use the steamer seam to attach it. I could if I wanted to make it flat. But even with it flat, it's a little more dimensional. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll roll it like that, press it down onto the steamer seam, and then attach it to the block after I attach him. And then that'll be my branch. And I had the thought I would maybe cut out some of these flowers and add them in for a background. Somehow, I'm not sure. I know this one doesn't have one, but we can be a little bit more artistic with our cloth. So I'll see how that goes. So right now I'm going to create this branch, and then I'll be back after I attach him to the block. Okay, I've got him all steamed down. Seems to be down very secure. Really happy with how it turned out. I really kind of just kept folding this brown cloth over to make this thin branch, and then I steamed that down with this, it wasn't steam a seam, it's the steam binding, the seam binding, fusible steam binding that you buy in a roll. Just cut that and steam that down. I probably will go over it and stitch it, probably on the edges. But right now I'm going to take my Posca pens and make his eye and kind of color in around his beak there. And I thought maybe I'd try putting a few of these little marks in there and see how that goes. Not sure if I'll outline any of this on here, but let's just try drawing his eye right now. So I am pretty, excuse me, happy with the steamer seam. Having never used it before, I think it worked out very well, and I still have a lot left, and that's just one sheet. Before I go on, I do want to mention I did make the pattern for anyone that might want it, who might want to try making one of these yourself. The size is small, you know, it's like 6 inches by probably 3 inches. Let's see. Oh, it's 2 inches. A little over 2 inches. And is, 5.5. So it's a small bird, but you could enlarge the pattern if you wanted to. I will have this pattern in my Ko-fi shop for anyone who wants to purchase it and try making one of these yourself. I also did create the Bird of the Month birthday card, and I turned my parrot into a pirate, and so he's kind of a Valentine pirate birthday card for February. And this is in my Etsy shop for anyone who would like to order that. It's got another image inside of lovebirds that I drew and collaged. And it's got some information on parrots, because parrots are the bird for February, and they're wonderfully intelligent, and there's over 350 types of them around the world. So they are the bird of the month for February. And so a little bit of information about folks born in February. They're most likely to be spunky and smart and filled to the max with personality. So there's a little more information on that in the card and about the parrots. And this is a downloadable, printable card for the February bird of the month. It's in my Etsy shop. Well, I'll link that below, and also link the pattern to my Ko-fi shop below. Okay, so let's get on with attempting to make his eye. I'm sorry for any shadows. I forgot to turn on my light. Okay, right up here, I'm going to draw his eye. I'm going to fill it all in with black except for a little white space. And hopefully that's going to look good. And the Posca paint pens are permanent. So that looks pretty good to me. I can always add more white if I want to with the Posca paint pens because they write over, or they color over any color. And now I'm going to add a little black right here. Just to kind of make it look like my drawing. There. Maybe I will go around and outline the cloth. I'm not sure if I should do that with the paint pen or with thread. See what it looks like with the pen. I can always go over it with thread if I want to. I think I'll just do it with the paint pen. Seems to work good. Since this is going to be a wall hanging, it's not something I'm going to be washing frequently. I think that looks good. Now let's try some of those little red marks. I think those are supposed to be feathers. Just put a few around his eye. Yeah, I think that makes it look a little better. Didn't put this black line here, but I don't know if I'm gonna do that or not. Let's see. I think it's necessary. I think it makes it look a little better. So now I have to draw his feet, or his claws, I guess you would call them. I'll make them a little bigger with the larger Posca. Okay. Well, I can either sew around this or draw around it with the Posca pen. So it's kind of a lot of layers to go through. And I might try to put some of these flowers in. I'm going to cut some of these out, see what it would look like to iron those onto the background, and I'll be back. Okay, well, I'm going to call it finished. I like very much how it turned out. I tried flowers. Flowers just didn't look right, so I just added some of those leaves from this material, and I think it looks really good. I just outlined everything with the black Posca pen, and I did add a few highlights with yellow Posca and green, and a little bit of red. So really pleased with how it turned out, and I thank you for watching. I hope you were inspired to create a bird like this, maybe from my pattern, maybe from your pattern, but try Steam a Seam and see how it works for you. See if you might want to create a bird or something similar. I will link the pattern, the card, and Steam a Seam, and the Posca pens in the description box below if you'd like to check any of those out. I appreciate you watching. I hope if you liked this video, you will give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. And I hope to see you next month for Bird of the Month in March. Have a great day. Bye-bye.